All right, it's time for another in our series of special reports focusing on the anniversary of the devastating earthquakes and tsunami in northeastern Japan.
The damaged Daiichi nuclear power plant in Fukushima has been sending poisonous radioactive particles into the air, water and earth, raising concerns about the safety of food from Japan.
A year after the disaster, Shin Zhi-chung takes a look at whether the food contamination is under control, starting on the farm.
For many years, 78-year-old farmer Ichiro Sasaki and his family ate what they harvested on their land and sold what's left. Most years there were cabbages and rice, but not this year. The Japanese government has banned all rice planting in this area and won't let them sell any of their cabbages. The government has halted farming everywhere in Minamisoma, a coastal city in Fukushima Prefecture where the Sasaki family lives, even though their farm is outside the 20-kilometer exclusion zone. Tokyo Electric Power, the nuclear plant's owner, has already compensated the Sasaki family, but he says he doesn't care about the money. For him, being able to eat what he grows means more.
I don't think it's such a big deal. Just because one part of Minamisoma is contaminated, we all have to stop farming. It's not necessary. I think the food grown here is safe to eat.
But the Fukushima Prefecture government is being very careful. This lab was established in 2006 as an agricultural research center. Last June, after the disaster, it became a radiation testing center. From Monday to Saturday, Kiichi Tariako and his colleagues checked the radiation in all foods produced in Fukushima, including milk, meat, fish, and vegetables. Only food that passes their testing may be sold.
Right after
the disaster, the radiation level in food like vegetables, fruit, and rice was very high. Now there's hardly any radiation to be detected. Only fish still has problems. But so far, all fishery operations have been suspended. We get the fish only for testing, not for selling.
Since the disaster, the government has set up 2 research centers to do sample testing for all the food produced in Fukushima Prefecture. While the labs can certify the food is safe, the question is, have people regained confidence in the food produced in disaster areas? All the produce at this food market in Fukushima has labels that clearly state where it comes from and who grew it. That's important to some people.
I will be super careful when I choose food because I only want to buy food grown in Fukushima to help the local agriculture recover.
And the extra caution over food safety goes beyond Fukushima. This restaurant in downtown Tokyo still buys rice wine from Fukushima, but managers are spending extra money to ensure safety.
We're now using a machine worth 1 million yen to do the test. At the restaurant, we want to further ensure food safety, so we are planning to buy a better machine for 20 million yen this year. Then we can open a restaurant selling only Fukushima food.
And a year after the disaster, diners don't seem too concerned.
I am part of a family with children. I'm okay, but for my baby, I will be cautious.
Supervision over the safety of food from Japan isn't any looser here in Shanghai. Even now, the inspection and quarantine authorities don't allow food from Tokyo and 9 other prefectures in Japan. Fish wholesaler Yuichi Maruyama says his imports are down by more than half since the disaster, and bringing in food from Japan costs more now.
Before the quake, we imported from Tokyo, but now we have to take a detour and import from other places. Both the logistics and time raised our costs.
But wholesalers and restaurants here are continuing to sell food from Japan. They say sales were back to normal just 2 months after the disaster, as consumers regained confidence. Still, farmers like Ichiro Sasaki worry about their future. Next month, Japanese authorities will reduce the level of radioactive cesium allowed in farm produce from 500 becquerels per kilogram to 100. Sasaki worries the lower limit will hinder the restoration of agriculture in Fukushima.
Paddy fields begin to go to ruin once farmers stop planting rice, and it is difficult to restore fields that have been left neglected.
The Fukushima prefectural government says the cesium level in the rice produced by 97.5% of the farmers is already below the new 100 becquerel limit. It's also trying other measures, including adding calcium to the soil to absorb the radiation and mixing the topsoil with the lower layers of earth. But Sasaki worries that by the time his land is safe to farm again, he might not be able to do it himself, and says he hopes his children will take care of this land for him. 秦志松，上海 Live。